Does this work? Can we make this work? Probably not. Trying to get upon the internet. I don't know if we could do that. Hey y'all, it is October the 30th. It's Halloween Eve. Y'all, 2019. We're live here up in San Antonio, Texas. It's getting real cold outside. It's kind of ridiculous. We might talk about that a little bit later. But y'all, I just want to dive into things. All right. Before we dive into some things, we're going to have a little bit of a screenshot rundown. And then, as you could tell by the title of this particular live stream, we got 3 people that we want to talk about in particular. All right, but before we do, I want to mention, and I've mentioned before, but I'm going to mention it again. All right, I have plans and I have aspirations, and I want to dive into this live stream stuff. All right, for many different reasons. And the thing is, I want to assure people out there that I do have some idea of how people do get into it and the different methods and techniques that provide for success in that realm. I'm not really executing any of them. What people are doing out there, the different various techniques they got in order to make sure that their audience has fair warning that they're about to come on, for example, has opportunity and access to certain things that I need to improve on. Like, for example, it's going to be this broadcast, hopefully not too short, but it's going to be fairly short because, for one, I got to charge my phone, and this broadcast is taking place over my phone, right? So I didn't even charge it very well. So hopefully it doesn't die on us and stuff before we get to our girl Greta, which might run down. So we got a full program today. All right, so buckle up your seatbelts. It's gonna be a wild ride, y'all. All right, but I just wanted to get that out of the way. There is stuff that I plan to do that I'm not doing right now. You might. All right, so with that out of the way, let's just go ahead and dive into things, see how much we can address before it's all said and done around here. All right, we're going to start off with a crowd favorite, a crowd pleaser, if you will, the screenshot rundowns. All right, it's good to just get a little feel what the heck's going on in the world from this, that, and the third, from all these different angles and little news bits and stuff like that. We're gonna get these news bits and we're gonna get them out of the way, all right, before we discuss what's really popping in the streets. All right. And meanwhile, if I do get a straggler or two, as I'm known to do, we'll address whatever's their concerns. All right. Feel free, because the thing is, I got total, complete legends who come through and contribute to my channel and stuff, man. I gotta make sure that they have the abilities to to bolster what it is we're doing here. All right. All right, so let's go into the screenshot rundowns. As you can see, this is something that I checked out recently. These are all pretty recent. In fact, I think I did these screenshots mostly today. All right, but we got this one that's caught my eye last night. Safest cities in Texas were ranked, all right, due to various variables and stuff and factors that they factor in order to figure out what's safe, what's not safe as far as crime and stuff goes, poverty and stuff. San Antonio lands probably not at the bottom of the list, let's be honest, but they were ranking it pretty dang low, all right, close to the bottom. All right, pretty much I gotta say, because this is where we're coming from. San Antonio is that basically that's fake news. I caught them slipping, giving y'all some fake news and stuff, talking about how dangerous it is, as far as it's just not safe. Right. Meanwhile, there's various suburbs on the list, and we can't go to right now. These are just screenshots, but I looked into the article a little bit, and there is various suburbs that you might not recognize if you're not from San Antonio, that are just right outside of San Antonio, basically our San Antonio, that are the safest, that are highly ranked on the safety meter. So it's like I don't know. Are you saying the inner city of San Antonio is dangerous? Maybe it is a little bit. Right? Maybe it is various sites, just so that you know about San Antonio. If you find yourself visiting for San Antonio, be wary of going to the east side, right? Be wary of going to the west side. In fact, don't do it. Um, Unless you know people and stuff, I wouldn't really go to the south side. All right, just so that y'all know. All right, just know your place. All right, you remain on the north side somewhere. All right, go downtown if you will. All right, that is kind of south, towards the south side, but you get my drift and stuff, man. There's some bad places, right? But then again, we got places like, for example, some of the places that they listed were Helotes and Cibolo. I'm like 2 minutes away from Cibolo and stuff. All right, it's kind of safe around here, y'all. And the reason I gotta mention real quick is that we got guns for the most part. All right, there's crime that goes down, but once you get to a certain area in San Antonio, you can figure people have guns, so you might want to think twice about what it is that you're doing, and that's why it is so safe. All right, I don't want to get it all messed up. Some people might not realize that's the only reason. All right. We could easily turn into Austin. We're not too far away from Austin. Speaking of that, I want to touch upon it real briefly. I noticed that someone joined us, and I appreciate you. All right. I'll check the comments in a section. Holler at me about whatever it is on the news that you want to cover real quick, and we're going to see if we can cover it real quick. All right, with the time that we have. I explained that my battery is not the strongest right now, and also there's stuff that I gotta get done. Pretty much we got, I would say, about 20, 25 minutes, all right, to run through this. I wish I had some more time. In fact, we'll probably cover it in more depth tomorrow night and stuff. We're going to keep it going daily until we improve on this process. But I wanted to mention briefly that it's kind of a little bit controversial, but San Antonio in it of itself, it's been in the news a little bit that we just contracted some sort of company from San Francisco, of all places, in order to help us out with our homeless situation. All right. And anybody with any sense immediately picked their head up and said, "What? Of all places, we're going to contract a company from San Francisco to help us with our homeless problem?" Meanwhile, I gotta say, it's kind of inside baseball, but the thing is, Austin, which is not too far away from San Antonio, basically sister cities or brother cities or whatever you want to call it, um, is rampant with homelessness now, and that's only been over the past couple of years that's really become a real problem over in Austin. All right, so my fear is that Austin may do this and that, and they may just migrate all their homeless people over to San Antonio, and wouldn't that be a disaster? All right, it's not too far fetched. All right, I saw something in the news about Greg Abbott, and he has plans to clear out the Austin's homeless problem under some underpass, Austin Highway or something like that. There's just a homeless village, and it's gone rampant. I noticed there's two people watching this. We caught two stragglers. I appreciate both of y'all. Like I told the first one, I'm gonna check the comments in a second, and let us know what's popping in the streets. Let us know what's really real. Let's keep it 100. All right, 100,000 million. All right, real quick, because we only got until just after 10 and stuff. We got some stuff to do, and I'm sorry about how quick it is. All right, but we're gonna see if we can run through it. Like I say, San Antonio is teetering on we don't have a homeless problem necessarily. It is a major city, so you are gonna have homeless people. We don't have a problem yet, but we're teetering on having a big problem. And the thing is, I don't trust our mayor for nothing. All right, so the thing is, he might say, "Oh, this and that." I understand. No, you might understand, but I don't trust you for nothing, Nierenberg. All right, so let's go on to the next one just as quick as possible. Don't fall prey to scaremongering about 5G. This is from Scientific America. All right, first of all, we know good and well what 5G is going to do to us. All right, it's going to fry our brains up. All right, it's going to all sort of money is going into it and stuff, and it's like, dude, nobody agreed on this, nobody voted on this. They're just gonna run it on us and stuff and say, hey, don't worry about how maybe unsafe it is. People are saying microwaves all up in your brain is probably bad. No, don't even worry about that. And you got Scientific America saying don't fall prey to the scaremongering. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Because here's the thing, real briefly, as far as the internet goes, our internet, the internet is already too fast as is. We can't, as human beings, we can't hardly keep up with it already. All right, and that's really the debate. It's like, are we too attached to these screens and this internet? And it's like, dude, sometimes it really makes us depressed to be all up in it. I mean, I really am an advocate for the communication. We got 3 stragglers up in the building. Oh man, thank you and God bless all y'all. Like I told the first 2. Oh, it's unwrapped by Brenda. Oh, the comments just popped up. All right, so she said, good evening to you, Brenda. I didn't realize that I would see the comments automatically. So, you know what I'm saying? Feel free to comment any 3 of y'all and let us know it's really real. We only have a little bit of time. But we're going to cover whatever it is that you talk about. I can see your comments. All right. So, here's the thing. The internet is going so fast and stuff. What do you mean don't fall prey? What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like, oh, am I gonna die in a ditch? You know what I'm saying? Am I gonna immediately become homeless just because I don't want 5G? Even if 5G was rolled out, I would opt out of it. I would not say, oh yeah, I want 5G. Sign me up for that. No, I wouldn't. Fall prey to what? All right, y'all are BSing us. Y'all are fake newsing us. Y'all know full well how dangerous it's going to be, and yet y'all want us to go ahead and sign up for it. I don't think so. Here's the thing. I want to cover this as well. Drag Queen Story Hour, we've been following it for a while. Trust me, all the people you know and all the friends you know, you might have some coworkers, you might get fired over it. So just, on the cool, with people who you might be cool with, bring it up. Drag Queen Story Hour, because here's what I can guarantee. 99% of the people who I work with never heard of it, don't know what it is, never heard of this. Drag Queen Story Hour, until I brought it up. They thought I was making it up. No, I'm not making it up. The whole nation's been talking about it. It's all over the nation. Sweat the nation. It's like in every major city and in small towns all throughout the nation. I brought it up a while back and we're going to be following it. This is just another example. Here's the thing, real briefly. It was a debate on whether or not we should have laws against the Drag Queen Story Hour and stuff like that. Here's where I fall. We shouldn't have laws against Drag Queen Story Hour because that would become too messy. Then there would be more and more laws about what can and can't be allowed in libraries and stuff like that. That's too messy. Here's what we should do. As people who stand firmly against Drag Queen Story Hour, what we should do is fully allow Drag Queen Story Hour to continue. And then what we should do is stand way off in the distance, maybe 20, 30 yards away from that library, and just see who walks into that library. Just note it. All right, there might be people in your area, and don't like violently attack them. Don't shout at them and scream at them. What you should do is know who's taking their children to these Drag Queen Story Hours and make a note of who they are. All right. And then don't ever let your children hang out with those people's children ever again. All right. Because that is a deep, dark tunnel into the abyss. All right. That's what we should do, because then we would be fully informed on who really wants to get their child molested. All right. And let's not mince words. All right. People taking their children to Drag Queen Story Hour fully intend to have their children molested. Is that controversial? All right, because here's the next thing. It's always a different thing coming up off these Drag Queen Story Hours. For one, let me mention Carla Rossi, one of the most famous Drag Queen Story Hour people from out of Portland. All right, that person blamed little children for grinding up on his crotch while he laid down, and he let little children grind up on his crotch. And I'm talking about a handful of different children, different separate instances, grinding up against his crotch. All right, Leah L says right, grinding up against his crotch as he falls and he's just laying on the ground. He calls it a death drop, whatever that means, and he lets little children while their parents are just taking pictures, like, oh, this is adorable. That's the kind of stuff going on and stuff. All right. And so this transgender is like, oh yeah, let me just show everybody my crotch and stuff because that's what it is. It is an open invitation to molest your children. And these people want that. They're sacrificing their children. We should know who that is. We should want to know who that is. Forget these laws because these laws ain't going to help us. All right. We need education on this. And then there's another angle. I took another screenshot. Report Minnesota. This is from out of Minnesota. Drag queen flashes his crotch during children's story hour. All right, and then you could clearly see that's a demon possessed person. That's clear as day. All right, I don't know who would want to debate that. All right, who would want to debate that? All right, that's an alien. That's an alien from outer space, dude. That is someone who does not mean you good, does not mean your children no good. Cannot wait to molest them. All right? And we should know about that stuff. Speaking of that, I was looking into that thing. I was trying to find out about that, about what's going on with this lady. You see, that's how confused that we got. This lady wannabe. I was trying to find out more about this, and it's not even a lady wannabe because that demon doesn't even look like a lady. You know, you can't just put a wig on yourself and put clown makeup all over yourself and say, "Oh, I'm a lady now." No, I've never seen a lady who looks like that. All right. But while I was in that, I couldn't help but notice that on Amazon, if you wanted to, right there, you can see it. Amazon.com, silicone. It's called Silicone Realistic Vagina Silicone Cross Dress Drag Queen Transvestite Panty Underwear. I have no idea why the long title and stuff like that, but isn't that the most grotesque thing that you ever heard of? And then you're gonna see a picture of it. Obviously, you can shop for it. It's the most disgusting thing that you ever heard of, all right? And that tranny person probably was wearing that. And the next time that they do it, trust me, they push the envelope. They ain't gonna have no underwear on. All right. As shocking as that might sound, that's about where we're at. And speaking of that, I wanted to go shout out to a legend in the game. I see we got three more people up in the we're at a record total of three people, stragglers up in the building watching us. I appreciate you. I know it's short notice and we're running through everything. We don't have much time, all right? We got about 15 minutes. I wish we had more and stuff because, there's three topics I wanted to bring up, and I wanted to talk about them at length. We're probably going to do that tomorrow night, but I wanted to mention them right now. All right, but before we get to those three topics, that Greta, that Jeffrey, that Michelle, before we get to them, I just wanted to run through the screenshots real quick. We got a Halloween rather special. And that's going to be tomorrow, I guess, tomorrow night. But we got some previews right on YouTube right now. And you can see by the title of the video, it's gonna be amazing. All right. I haven't seen this particular preview yet, but you can already see it's gonna be amazing. All right. And hey, man, I mean that's the thing. It's not violence towards a person or anything. It's theatrical. I'm not sure what exactly. I'm pretty sure I vouch for it. I vouch for the legend Maitre Mark. I'll tell you that. I haven't seen exactly what he's going to put on presentation. I can't vouch for it yet, but I pretty much do. We're going to see about it tomorrow night, and I can't wait. There's a little bit of a closer up. It's got like a gorilla chained up. And he's hitting it with a club, and that's an interesting club that he put. He made it the other day. He's got a club, and it's a walking stick, so you can walk with it, and just if you need a cane and stuff, help you out while you're hiking and stuff like that. But meanwhile, if someone does happen to come out and is a vampire or something like that, those on the end of that club is silver coins. It'll bash you in the head, and it's gonna put some silver up in you. All right, and we know already that's it sounds like a good idea, all right? People have been saying for hundreds and thousands of years, man, this silver, that's not good for them for some reason. We all thought this was folklore and stuff like that. I tend to not believe it. These vampires and stuff been running around for hundreds of years, thousands of years, all right? They bring up silver for a reason. Pentagon releases video of the raid. that killed ISIS leader Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. Now, that's still kind of controversial. I tend to believe it. You can call me a fool for it, but I tend to believe we ran up in there and we did what we had to do. This little coward ran up into a cave and exploded himself and his children. And I'm sorry about the children thing, but that was his choice, all right? While he was crying and whimpering like a little, I don't even want to say a little girl because I'm a fan of children and stuff like that, but just a coward and a disgusting, probably pervert, all right? Probably everything bad you could think of. He ran up into a cave and like a little, the word escapes me, but a little freak, coward, loser. I believe a loser is what Donald Trump called him. I missed that last comment and stuff. I know we got comments coming in. Oh, that's interesting. Anyways, hold on, let me get that out of the way. I tend to believe it. But I don't 100% believe anything. All right. Um, However, they are releasing the video. I want to see a video because I remember that whole Osama bin Laden thing, and I didn't believe that for 1 second. I don't know who, with any sort of sense, believes that whole Osama bin Laden thing, right? Especially after they exploded all those Navy SEALs and stuff in a helicopter. Uh, yeah, I'm pretty sure of it. More than 750 at Texas venue. Now, this happened a while back, actually. At a Texas venue, you might not have heard it on national news because it does not fit the official narrative. Like, I guarantee you, it's not a white person, and I'm not racial. I'm not mentally racial and stuff like that. But because it wasn't a white person, and they knew for a fact that it wasn't going to be a white person, I don't even know if they found the shooter yet. That's why they didn't really bring it up in national news. Not a big deal. Right. However, at least 2 people were killed, and like 14 different people were shot. That's a mass shooting. That's pretty legit. That's official. All right, and that was a scary looking situation and stuff, man. Like it looked all creepy. It was like a Halloween party and stuff, man. People got gunned down, and you see videos of people. I haven't seen the videos, but I've heard. And we got 4 people up in the building, man. I really appreciate all y'all. It's like a record. It's a record for us right now. And thing is, I look forward to more developments. We're going to be developing this live stream. We're gonna be getting more people together, and we're gonna be putting our brains together, coming up with solutions. It's called teamwork. Okay, I hope that you're about it. But the thing is, it doesn't fit the narrative. All right, so that's why you didn't hear very much about it. It's probably one of the creepiest out of all the mass shootings, and I'm pretty sure it is very real. I don't think anybody's gonna debate about it. All right, and that's bad. But the thing is, okay, it probably more than likely had everything to do with gang activity. All right, unfortunately, and it's just all the more reason to protect yourself because you never know when you're gonna get caught up in the crossfire of some gang activity. You might not even be in a gang. You get caught up in the crossfire. All right, someone's just start shooting everybody. You might want to be protected. You ain't gonna be able to call 911. First and foremost, run, get out of the way, hide, just get out of the way. But if you can't, all right, you might want to pull out that strap and not get dead real quick. All right, that person, from what I understand, probably went to kill one person by the name of Kevin Barry or something like that, and he found himself in a crowd of people, just started shooting to get his way out. All right, you're probably going to want to get strapped up for many different reasons. All right, and that's pretty much what's sinking in for the country. There's so many guns. There's more guns than people here in America. All right, but the thing is, it's really starting to sink in. We're not in control of what's going on. Stuff might happen all at random, and you want to be prepared for it because you're not going to be able to call the police, and they're not going to get there in time. All right, their 911 system don't even work correctly. All right, it's going to get bogged down and stuff like that. You might not want to get killed randomly. All right, we got to run through this real quick. Gosh, we don't have that very much time. In fact, I'm gonna add an extra 15 minutes. We can see if we can close it out by 10:15 because I got to get ready to get that money at work and stuff. All right, but I wanted to take a look at this real quick. Jennifer Aniston is single, and I didn't mean to laugh, but living her life exactly as she wants to, and I think that's a quote. Here's the thing. Here's what I can guarantee you. There's a lot of ladies her age that probably are perfectly good ladies and stuff, probably are decent and even more than decent. But here's what I can guarantee you. A lady at her age specifically In her specific situation, all right, when they're single, that's the very opposite of reality. That is not what they want to be doing. They do not want to live that way. It is a desperate situation for them. And mind you, all sort of stuff happens. Sometimes people become widows and stuff like that. But that is absolutely not the truth. All right. That is not how you want to be living. And we know full well. And it's desperate. It's a crying shame. And it's not to say that people, like I said, women her age, like if they are single, trust me, we're going through tough times. All right. Men and women ain't getting along. But the thing is, no, that's not how you want to be living. And I know that for a fact. Thing is, I walk through the grocery store from time to time and I see Jennifer Aniston. I know you've seen her too at the grocery store. You see her on these magazines all trying to look glamorous. It's like, oh, look at me. Oh, look at me. I'm desperate for attention and stuff. And dude, it's a crying shame, dude. Every time I see Jennifer Aniston on the magazine, I want to cry a little bit for her. All right. I feel so very bad for her. I don't care how many millions of dollars she has. Does not make any difference. All right. She is the exact opposite of success, unfortunately. And you know, what's so crazy is that there's little girls and whatnot walking past this grocery store aisles that look up at these magazines and think, oh yeah, that's what I want to be. It looks so good. She's so attractive, and then I want to be just like her. She's setting them up for absolute, undeniable failure, unfortunately. And she knows full well that she's failing at life, unfortunately. I want to say this: Jerry Brown blames Trump and Republicans for California fires. And we could talk all day about how much of a joke that is and how much Jerry Brown is an advocate for perverts. All right. He's made it quite clear. I mean, it's not even ambiguous. All right. He is an advocate for perverts. I don't know why his skin's all red like that. Like he's got a rash. But the thing is, he's talking about California fires and he says Donald Trump has blood on his soul, whatever that means. uh, just inventing phrases and stuff like that. And first of all, you're an advocate for perverts and perversion. I know that for a fact. And you're going to talk about, see, we've been talking about California fires for years, saying, oh, you might want to do something about it. Meanwhile, you don't do nothing about it. Right? In fact, it's like and I've heard, conspiracy theories that you mean to have these fires. All right. That way you can smoke people out and stuff. You can get people out of their homes. You can do stuff. You can collude with the insurance companies. That way people can't even get fire insurance in California. You shouldn't even be able to live in California without fire insurance. Right? It's ridiculous over there. All right. But meanwhile, y'all screwing everybody out. Everybody who lives in a rural area of California is at extreme risk right now. I'm here to tell you because they'll set fires and stuff and they'll just blame it on Donald Trump. Is that a conspiracy theory? All right. Anyways, 7-year-old in critical condition, and I want to see this real quick. After a random attack by a homeless man, I think this was up in New York somewhere. All right. And long story short, this random homeless guy came up and it's like the middle of the evening. It was like 5 p.m. These kids are out, 7-year-old and 10-year-old, and they're waiting for the pizza delivery guy out in the front. And some homeless guy just runs up, picks up the 7-year-old out of nowhere, slams him on the ground. That boy's head hits the ground. All right. He's up in critical condition. They don't know what's going to happen from this. All right. And all I want to say about it real briefly is that's another reason we're talking about New York. That's another reason why y'all need to be lax on y'all's gun laws. Y'all need to take away y'all's gun laws because here's the thing. Every homeless person in our country should be deadly scared of ever doing anything to any little child or anybody else because they should know for a fact that once they do something like this, for example, that they're immediately going to get gunned down just like an al-Baghdadi all up in a ditch, all up in the streets, and I'm talking about immediately. All right, I'm talking about we're not going to wait for the police to come. The police. Oh, you're going to get gunned down real quick for doing something like this. All right. And then every homeless person would think twice. I don't care if you're bipolar or whatever else, whatever your excuse was, you're going to think twice because you already know you're going to get gunned down with the swiftness. All right. Trying to pull this. But meanwhile, what they did is they took the guy, they found the guy, some 35-year-old homeless man, and now they're mentally evaluating him. And I'm not even kidding you, and I know that you know that I'm not kidding. They're mentally evaluating him for what? For what? The only thing he should be evaluated for is what kind of like what size of noose will fit him properly. That's the only thing that he should be evaluated for. See, we got the opposite of justice working, the opposite of it. All right. And speaking of that, I wanted to draw attention to a case that we have not forgot about. That's Arabella Parker. All right, that's her aunt right there, and I don't know her aunt from Eve. I don't know what her aunt's about, but her aunt seems to be showing some sort of concern for her niece, Arabella, a 3-year-old who's still in critical condition after weeks, dude. They're about to, I don't know if it's tomorrow, but they're gonna take her off the breathing machine and see how she responds. All right, she's up in critical condition after weeks, after basically being tortured. All right. Meanwhile, I do want to draw attention to okay, there's a boyfriend involved, and he's being accused of delivering 44 separate different injuries to Arabella Parker, a 3-year-old little girl. All right. And so he's up in jail for that. Her mom, her actual mom, is up in jail for child endangerment. And I want to speak on that real briefly. Her mom is equally guilty, if not more guilty, than the boyfriend. Period. Point blank on his face. She should be getting equal punishment, or equal charges, if not double that. If not double that, she should be facing the death penalty for this. And I don't care if she. And the thing is, I know in my heart that she physically abused her own daughter. That those 44 injuries, some of them had to come from her. I know that for a fact in my heart. But the thing is, had she not done anything and watched it, and just watched it happen, she's just as guilty as this guy, if not more so. All right, because that's the mother of this little girl. It's ridiculous. That's the end of our screenshots, right? So I'm going to take over a little bit, and I want to touch upon Jeffrey and Greta and Michelle real quick before we get out of here. Gosh, we only have about 7 minutes. I appreciate all y'all for coming out and stuff. I wish we had some more time, but we're going to make some more time tomorrow. I'm going to give y'all more of a heads up, and we're going to get more on top of our game as time goes on. I wanted to mention, real briefly, in case you didn't know, I saw We Are Changed. Luke Radowski, you might want to check it out. He just went with a friend named the Dollar Vigilante. They just went up to Epstein Island and took a look around and stuff. It's pretty dang interesting. They were wandering around taking pictures and stuff and taking videos, different evidence and stuff going around. If you wanted to get an inside look onto Epstein Island and stuff, they just did that right now. It was scary as hell. It was risky as hell. All right, and I appreciate the crap out of them for doing it. All right, some damn heroes, all right? And they were going around, looking around and stuff. Meanwhile, the opposite of justice is what's taking place as far as Jeffrey Epstein. We know that they cleared all sort of stuff out of there, all right? In the weeks after the whole taking him to jail and stuff, we know that there were certain people up in the FBI, probably who knows what other government agencies, rooting around and making sure stuff disappeared. We know that for a fact, right? It's all sort of tunnels up under it. Who knows? Who knows? All right. But the thing is, this situation ain't gonna end, and ain't nobody gonna forget about it. All right. And I just want to make that real brief. We're gonna talk about it more in greater detail tomorrow. All right. But I also wanted to mention our girl Michelle, and you know who I'm talking about, Michelle Obama. All right. You might want to Google it because she's talking that mess again. All right. And actually, this is a two-parter, but Michelle was saying, in brief, I'm paraphrasing her. I didn't read the whole articles, but it was supposedly quotes that she's talking about, saying, "Oh, white people are scared of minorities. They're scared of all sort of these brown people and black people, and they're so scared and stuff, and they run away from us every time we come and try to live with them and coincide with them. They're running away because they're all racist in their hearts, and they hate us, and they hate us, and we're still being oppressed and stuff, dude." This is the former first lady, dude. How oppressed are you? You're the former first lady And you're still talking about oppression, dude. You are crazy. You are crazier than a bag of bricks, dude. It's ridiculous. All right. But she keeps going on with this narrative, no matter how ridiculous it is. Here's what I got to say. For those who haven't figured it out, racism is not a real thing. Hatred is a real thing, and it's bad for you. It's bad for your heart. It's going to give you cancer. All right. But the thing is, racism ain't a real thing. Here's the thing. I don't care if you're black. I don't care if you're white. I don't care if you're Mexican, Asian, Eskimo. I don't care what it is. All right. You should probably do your best to get yourself away from poverty, to separate yourself away from poverty and crime riddled neighborhoods. All right. And the thing is, you take any rapper, you take any ball player, you take any whatever entertainer, and trust me, they don't live up in the ghetto. All right. They separated themselves. No matter how much LeBron wants to talk about, oh, we're being oppressed, dude. Oh, yeah, we oppressed you with about $1 billion. All right. You're not living up in the hood. All right. You did the right thing because you know that it's extremely dangerous up in the hood. You need to separate yourself from there. And if everybody took that to heart and said, okay, I want to get money, I want to get a job, all right? I want to get 2 jobs, I want to get out of this damn ghetto and get myself away from these people. Okay, what would happen systematically is everybody would flee the ghetto. You can call it white flight or whatever you want. You would get out of the ghetto and get away from all this violence, and those ghettos and those violent neighborhoods would automatically shrink. They would have to because there would be less people in them. Right, so they would still be just as violent, still just as crime riddled, but they would have to shrink. And that's the thing about it. The less and less people up in there, they would just wind up killing each other. God bless them, and wind up killing each other, and they would wind up starving to death, dude. They don't have no money. All right, and staying ridiculous. Meanwhile, Michelle wants to make it into a black-white thing, like a color thing, like you're retarded. She wants to do it like that. No, it's people getting, like I said, dude. It's as simple as that. If you get money, get up out of the hood. It's disgusting. I don't have to tell you twice. You already know it's disgusting. All right. But I wanted to mention this. Like I said, it was a two-parter. That idea of getting away from all this violence, getting away from making sure that your family's safe. All right. I don't care what skin color you are. You should probably want to do that. And it kind of relates, it kind of brings me back to a thought. It was a while back that I endorsed what's called the walk away movement. And I want to elaborate that on a little bit. And I'm going to do more so tomorrow night when we have a little bit more time. But I endorsed the walk away movement a while back, and I want to continue to endorse that. What it is, it's like minorities, to include like homosexuals and stuff like that, who they realize the political left is trying to basically sabotage them and place them up into the ghetto. All right, forever. So they realize that, and so they're wandering to the right, if you will, the political right, realizing that more conservative people will actually, they'll disagree with you, but they won't try to destroy your life, basically. I mean, just to put it very briefly. I still endorse that because that's what they should want to do. They should want to get themselves out of the ghettos. They should want to get themselves away from the LGBTQs, the LGBT elemental Ps. They should want to get themselves away from that because it's sick and disgusting and it's full of pedophiles. And that's all it is. All right, satanic pedophiles. You should want to distance yourself away from that. But here's the thing: what I gotta explain is it's a process. They're trying to get themselves away from the LGBTQ, the LGBT element of peace. They're trying to get themselves away from it, and after a while, they're gonna realize. Everybody over here on the conservative side, they're like doing this man and lady thing, and it's creating children, and that's creating families, and then they're having ultimate success, right? So they might start thinking twice, like, I really like to, do this the homosexual stuff, but damn, dude, it looks so fun. It looks with that whole family and children and bolstering life and promoting life and having a lifestyle instead of a death style. I should want to do that too. And so I imagine the walkaway movement, what that is going to lead to is a movement of people just realizing it's actually more fun it's actually more successful. You're going to be way more happier by doing a man and a lady thing because that's how children come to the earth, all right? I don't know if I'm a scientist. I don't know if I just discovered this and stuff like that. But yeah, it's going to be way more better. All right. Especially if men and women can learn to get along. I know the government is desperately trying to drive men and women apart by making these crazy laws in which people can ultimately extort other people. And that's just perfectly fine. All right. I don't want to dwell upon that very much because we done ran out of time. All right. I know we're late right now, but I do, just real briefly, and we're going to talk about it in great detail because I want to get to the bottom of this. All right, Greta Thunberg, like I said earlier the other day, I love Greta Thunberg. All right, and if you want to have a debate on it, if you want to fight about it, if you want to have an argument about it, let's go for it. Like I'm not scared about that. All right, I love Greta Thunberg, but not only that, I love every human being on earth, to include that disgusting demon riddled drag queen who's flashing all those children in the library. I love that person, right? I love them enough to tell them the truth and to also administer justice. And I'm not saying myself, I'm saying legally and lawfully, we need to have justice on you. There needs to be consequences for you attempting to molest children all in public. There needs to be consequences on that. Doesn't mean I don't love you. I do still love you. You have potential, you have ultimate potential, but you're demon riddled, and we need to make it safe for people, all right, especially children. Have a wonderful evening as well, Leah. Blessings your way as well, I'm sure. All right, but we're gonna, I'll see you some other time, maybe tomorrow, and stuff like that. I appreciate you. But Greta Thunberg, all right, I want to finish out because we only have a couple more minutes. I want to thank everybody for coming through to the live stream. All right, on such short notice, I appreciate all y'all. All right, and I'm going to see y'all next time. But before we get out of here, Greta Thunberg, all right, something wrong with there. Like I said, I'm not hating on this person. I'm not trying to like attack this little child. All right, but what I'm here to say is there's something wrong with her. All right. And it's not to say, oh, we need to like just, put her somewhere and stuff, something wrong with her. It's to say that there's something wrong with this person and she could use our help sincerely. And so that's why we're going to discuss it further. What might be very controversial, it's definitely not going to be discussed in the mainstream and stuff like that. There's something wrong with Greta Thunberg, something wrong with her face, right? I'm not trying to be mean or overly shallow, but it's something wrong with her face. Her face is telling us a lot, right? My particular theory, and I stated it on the video the other day, is that she's unfortunately a victim of what's called fetal alcohol syndrome. If you never heard of it, go ahead and Google it, right? Look at all the faces of people who suffer from fetal alcohol syndrome, and you're going to note that Greta Thunberg, at least from what I've seen, shares every last feature. All right. So coincidentally, she shares every feature with that. Now, Maitre Mark, who's a legend, he came to that video and he said, look, I've worked with people with fetal alcohol syndrome. I don't think that's what it is. All right. And me personally, I don't have no experience necessarily with people with fetal alcohol syndrome. I just, honestly, I was familiarizing myself with that the other day. I didn't know much about it. But Coach Red Pill, just to be real brief about it, he's the one who suggested that that's what's happening here. And so I looked it up. I was like, oh, okay, let me find out. And yeah, that's what she looks like. Now, Maitre Mark said, I don't think that's what it is. He said, I think what it is that she might be suffering from what's called mosaic Down syndrome. And you can Google that as well. And you'll note that the features of mosaic Down syndrome and fetal alcohol syndrome are very, very close, very closely related. All right. You notice that they're almost the same thing. There might be a couple different variables. All right. But the thing is, on the brief research that I did, I don't think that she has the mosaic Down syndrome. And the reason I want to say that is because some of the symptoms of that is, in fact, slower speech. I don't know that she has slower speech. She has pretty average speed as far as speaking goes, and also a low IQ. All right. Certainly, Greta Thunberg is a small child, number one, and certainly she's blinded by hatred, probably for her parents, and I wouldn't blame her. All right. But okay, she's blinded. She's blind as all hell. All right, but I have doubts that her IQ is low. I don't think her IQ is low necessarily. I think she's blinder than anybody's business, right? And she has an extreme hatred for not only her parents, but human beings in general. And she basically is very open about it, right? Without saying it, that's pretty much what she says all the time. She has a hatred for human beings. It's not that she has a low IQ, so this is why I don't think that she has mosaic Down syndrome. All right, but I can't guarantee that she has fetal alcohol syndrome, even though it looks very much like that. All right, we need to get some more experts. We need to get some more people familiar with these topics to come in and suggest and point out evidence and stuff. And we really need to get to the bottom of what is wrong with Greta Thunberg's face. And no, I'm not hating on her, but we need to figure it out. All right, and so we're gonna go into it definitely in more depth tomorrow night, and probably subsequently. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, y'all. And I appreciate all y'all. It's gonna take teamwork, but we're gonna get to the bottom of it. We're gonna get to solutions. We're gonna get to success. All right, we're gonna make America great again. We're gonna make Tasmania great again. We're gonna make India great. We're gonna make Canada great. All sort of stuff. They can't stop us, and they won't stop us. All right, I would like to see them try. They're trying their best right now. They're getting all desperate. All right, we're about to leave out right now. I appreciate all y'all, but let me remind you, they're getting very desperate, and when that happens, they're going to basically, by any means necessary, they're going to do some dastardly things. I mean, atrocious things. I mean, like just over the top things. 9/11 comes to mind. So keep your eyes out for the next 9/11. All right, we're about due for it. I appreciate y'all. It's October the 30th. 2019. And by the way, I totally forgot to mention, but Nick Fuentes, man, Nick Fuentes, you might want to look him up. It's America First and stuff, man. He's making big waves. And we're going to talk about that tomorrow night and stuff, man. I just barely became familiar with Nick Fuentes. I'm not saying I agree with everything he says. What I'm saying is he's making some big waves. You might want to check him out. All right. He's taking on Charlie Kirk. He's taking on Turning Point USA, which is obviously an infiltrating group of just fakes and phonies. All right, quite obviously. And he's taking them on. He's basically destroying them right now, single-handedly. All right, it's pretty dang impressive. And also the rate in which he delivers and articulates thoughts is pretty damn impressive. I got to tell you right now. And they're going to say, oh, he's a Nazi. Oh, he's this and that. His name is Nick Fuentes. All right, how many people named Fuentes is a Nazi out there? Doesn't make any sense. Doesn't have to make any sense. All right, obviously, we're all up in the tribulation or something like that. And I appreciate y'all. I'm going to get out of here, and I'll see y'all next time.